Thanks, Cahill. Minister, it's taken a long time to get government to accept that there is a housing crisis. Predecessors in your seat would not accept that, but I think now it's accepted. But we have huge constraints in infrastructure, water infrastructure, wastewater infrastructure, electricity infrastructure. And let me say this, just in relation to County Laois, the county that I'm most familiar with, 13 towns and villages require improved capacity. And I'll name them for you. Portarlington, and particularly people have complained to me in the Schleena and Ballymorris Road area of the lack of water pressure in those areas. Mount Rathtown, Stradbally, Rathdowney, Ballylinen, Durrow, Killinard, Borrisnostre, Balnakill, Castletown, Ballybrittis, Newtown and Greycullen all require improved capacity. And if we look at the area of wastewater, the position is even more tricky. There are four towns on amber alert, 4 towns and villages on amber alert regarding wastewater, but there's 4 on red alert. And the 4 on red alert are Borrisnostre, Balnakill, the Swan and Timahoe. And on amber alert you have Mountmellick, a substantial town that needs increased capacity. Clunneslee, you have Arles, all on amber alert. And this needs to be addressed because we can't have homes without infrastructure. This is hampering house building in these towns and villages. And the government needs to set out a clear investment plan for County Laois to address this. Also, and I've raised this with you before, we need low interest loans available for the small builders. We need to be able to activate these small builders and developers who can get going and build small schemes in these towns and villages, which would take up a lot of the demand that is there, because not everybody wants to live in the city. A lot of these people are working locally. It would save them having to commute. And so all those towns and villages that I mentioned, a lot of them, small schemes could be developed in those. The government, and can I just move on to zoned land for a minute? The government say not enough land is zoned for housing. And it's true that in some areas, Minister, you and I know it may not be in the right place, but there's substantial land zoned, because your department has told me that there's 46,300 hectares. That's over 100,000 acres. And if you work that out, like, that's a huge hundreds of thousands of houses. So that's across the state. In County Laois, 1,145 hectares is owned for mixed use. Assuming 700,000 of that could be used for housing at 20 units per hectare, that would give you 14,000 houses in County Laois alone. Now, Port Laois, there are some areas where it is constrained, and there will need to be land zoned, and Port Laois will be one of them. In relation to electricity, the ESB has flagged that electricity demands of data centres is curtailing and will curtail the amount in reserve in supply for housing developments. Over 1/5 of the supply is being taken up with data centres. I'm not arguing completely against them, but we have to have a bit of balance here. So you can't expand the number of homes to be delivered, in a lot of areas, a lot of localities, because we have a shaky grid and we have a shaky means of capacity, with over-dependence on just a number of sources of generation. The Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland have flagged this, and as I said, the ESB have flagged it. Ishkair and local councils have flagged it. And one last thought, Minister. Your predecessor, I argued with him here on the floor at all, Phil Hogan, when he was Minister, about the establishment of Irish Water. And I would ask you to go back and look at the money that went into Irish Water in the last 12 years. And just think about this. If that money had to be given to local authorities, we would have very good water infrastructure in this country instead of what we have at the moment. That's all I would say to you. So we need a plan for County Laois, we need an investment plan, and we need to move on with house building.
Thanks, Deputy Stanley.